Historically, Yuan Shao controlled a vast coalition in northern China with superior numbers of 70 to 100,000 troops compared to Cao Cao's smaller force of 40,000. Their decisive battle centered around Guandu, a strategic choke point near the Yellow River. Yuan Shao's advantages included his larger army, greater resources, and some of his experienced generals like Chu Yi, Yan Liang, and Wen Chao. His downfall came about by indecision and internal discord, such as advisors like Dian Feng being imprisoned or Zhu Shu being ignored. Yuan Shao's tendency to mistrust his subordinates also limited Chu Yi's influence, a skilled commander noted for his leadership of elite troops and archery-based tactics. For Yuan Shao to win at Guandu, he'd need to neutralize Cao Cao's agility to protect his supply lines at Wuchao and leverage his numbers more effectively. Here's how that could unfold. In this scenario, Yuan Shao listens to Dian Feng and Zhu Shu, instead of favouring less capable advisors like Guo Tzu and Shen Pi. Dian Feng pushes for a war of attrition, leveraging Yuan Shao's resources to wear Cao Cao down, while Zhu Shu emphasises on securing the supply lines. Yuan Shao adopts these strategies, setting the stage for a more disciplined campaign. In recognizing the vulnerability of his supply lines, Yuan Shao stations a stronger, more alert garrison at Wuchao under a capable commander, say Zhang He, rather than Chen Yuxiong. Additional scouts are then deployed to detect any external flanking maneuvers. Yuan Shao also resolves internal rivalries, ensuring his generals Yan Liang, Wen Chao, Zhang He and Gao Lan operate more cohesively, rather than competing for glory. This prevents the disjointed attacks that historically allowed Cao Cao to pick them off one by one. Yuan Shao also maintains high morale by distributing rewards and ensuring steady supply lines from Ji, Qing, Yu and Bing provinces. This contrasts with history, where his troops grew tired by a prolonged stalemate and supply shortages after Wuchao's fall. Yuan Shao begins with a cautious advance, sending Yan Liang to probe Cao Cao's fortifications at Guandu. Instead of an all-out attack, Yan Liang harasses Cao Cao's lines, forcing him to commit reserves early. Wen Chao's cavalry patrols the flanks, preventing Cao Cao from striking or scouting the rear. This wears down Cao Cao's smaller force without risking Yuan Shao's main army. After securing a more alert garrison at Wuchao, Zhang He moves 15,000 troops to the west along the Yellow River, blocking Cao Cao's potential crossing. Gao Lan takes 10,000 to the east, cutting off Cao Cao's supply lines from Shu province, which limits his mobility, his historical strength. Next, Yuan Shao commits his main force of 50,000 under his personal command, supported by Zhu Shu's tactical oversight to besiege Guandu. He assigns Chu Yi to the central front, commanding 10,000 infantry, likely spearmen and archers. Chu Yi leads the attack on Guandu, with Yan Liang at his left flank and Wen Chao at his right, with Liu Bei and Zhao Yun acting as a mobile reserve. Rather than a hasty attack, they entrench, building siege towers and catapults as they did historically, but with better coordination. The continuous bombardments and probing assaults limit Cao Cao's options for weeks, making use of Yuan Shao's resource advantage. Cao Cao, desperate to break this stalemate, attempts his historical raid on Wuchao with his elite troops, but Yuan Shao is ready. Zhang He's reinforced garrison, combined with Zhu Shu's scouts, detect Cao Cao's movements early. Zhang He ambushes the small raiding party in a night battle, using the narrow paths and marshes around Wuchao to trap and annihilate them. Cao Cao himself narrowly escapes, but key lieutenants like Xu Huang are captured. With Cao Cao's raid failing and his army demoralized, Yuan Shao launches a decisive assault onto Guandu. While Yan Liang presses the front, Zhang He strikes from the west, and Wen Chao's cavalry sweep in from the rear. Gao Gan's eastern force seals the trap. Chu Yi leads the direct assault which breaches Guandu's outer defences, shattering Ye Jin's unit and killing him. Cao Cao's overstretched army collapses under the multi-directional attack. He attempts to flee, but is killed alongside Zhu Chu by Chu Yi's vanguard troops. Yuan Shao's victory dismantles Cao Cao's control over the central plains. There's no predestined rise of Wei, just a practical shift in power. Yuan Shao goes on to consolidate Henan by leveraging his existing dominance in the north. His generals secure key cities like Chuchang, Chenliu and Luoyang, establishing garrisons to prevent rebellions. Yuan Shao further appoints loyal administrators, perhaps Zhu Chu or Shen Pi, to govern and tax the region, funneling resources back to his northern base. Chu Yi remains in Yi, training recruits and guarding hostages. His discipline bolsters the core. Historically, Liu Bei convinced Yuan Shao to provide him with troops to assist Liu Pi, excusing himself from his service. Here, with Yuan Shao victorious, the 39-year-old Liu Bei pledges loyalty post-Guandu. He returns to Qing province with Yuan Tan, who stations him in Shu province with Guan Yu, Zhang Fei, Jia Yun and their 5,000 elite troops. Zhang He and Wen Chao are sent to mop up Tao Ren's resistance in Yan province. Cities like Puyang surrender or are taken by force. Yuan Shao next offers amnesty to Cao Cao's old officers such as Shi Yuan, integrating their units into his army while executing die-hard loyalists like Cao Hong to deter further opposition. Historically, Yuan Shao never controlled the emperor, but was a former Han loyalist, and his victory at Guandu now gives him custody over the emperor in Shu. He likely treats him with formal respect but firm control. He keeps him in Shu, or moves him to Yi under heavy guard, issuing edicts in the emperor's name to legitimize his rule, such as granting himself the title of Grand Commandant. He avoids deposing Emperor Xian outright because the Han's symbolic authority still holds sway over wavering warlords and the populace. Yuan Shao might groom one of his sons, likely Yuan Tan or Yuan Shang, as a loyal regent to the emperor, setting up a dynastic transition whilst maintaining the Han facade. Yuan Shao's 3 key sons destabilized his regime after his death. In this timeline, with victory boosting his authority, he manages them more effectively. Eldest son Yuan Tan is stationed in Qing province to secure the east. He governs with 15,000 troops and is tasked with suppressing Cao Cao's lingering allies such as Zhang Ba. Yuan Shao keeps him distant to curb his ambitions and rewards him with titles to maintain loyalty. Second son Yuan Shi is sent to Yu province with 10,000 troops to manage the northern frontier against the Wuhuan tribes, ensuring stability and tribute. His quieter demeanour makes him a reliable caretaker of this critical buffer zone. Favoured and youngest son, Yuan Shang, is kept close in Yi or Chuchang to be groomed as an heir. With 20,000 elite troops, Shang assists in central administration and military oversight, shadowing his father to learn governance and command. To prevent any infighting, Yuan Shao formalizes their roles with clear hierarchies, possibly under Dian Feng's advice, and uses marriage alliances to local elites to bind their loyalty. Shi Dun and Shi Yuan likely surrender, and serve Yuan Shao as regional commanders, given their clan ties and survival instincts. Skilled tacticians such as Zhang Liao might defect, if offered a rank, further bolstering the armed forces. Cao Ren, on the other hand, as a staunch loyalist, would likely resist and be killed, or flee west to Ma Teng. Cao Cao's sons are still young. If captured, then Yuan Shao holds them as hostages in Yi to deter rebellion, possibly executing them later if unrest persists. Cao Cao's old administrators like Shun Ye are co-opted or replaced, with Yuan Shao installing his own men to extract resources in their stead. By 202, Yuan Shao holds the north and the central plains, with Jing province as his next target. He strengthens his army with defectors and taxes, aiming to unify China under his banner, with the emperor as a figurehead. He faces Sun Quan's naval defiance, Liu Bei's opportunism, and potential unrest from Cao Cao's old allies. On top of this, his son's rivalry could still fracture his gains though, if he dies prematurely. In 203, Yuan Shao marches south with 50,000 troops, leveraging Emperor Xian's edict for a Han restoration ploy. Liu Biao, aging and cautious, falls for the ruse and cedes Qing province without a fight. Yuan Shao stations Yuan Shang and Zhang He in Jing and operates from Xiangyang to secure it. Historically, Yuan Shao's health declined after Guandu. Here, victory and a less taxing campaign allow him to rest in Xiangyang. He delegates governance to Shen Pi and Zhu Shu to conserve his energy, so his condition stabilizes temporarily, but underlying sickness limits him to only a year or two more, dying in late 203. Yuan Shang inherits a sprawling but fragile domain, and his unification efforts face significant hurdles. His post-Guandu central plains need rebuilding, and Jing's taxes are slow to integrate, limiting funds for large-scale campaigns. Shen Pi and Zhu Shu back Yuan Shang, but Guru Tu sows discord in Yi with his pro-Tan stance, which risks factionalism. Yuan Tan's ambition means he might rebel one day. Backed with support from Liu Bei, he might look to seize power or even defect to Sun Quan if he's really unhappy, splitting Yuan's forces. Liu Bei's growing influence and Han loyalist reputation might also make him break away if Yuan Shang falters. though he remains loyal for now. Controlling Ji, Qing, Yu, Bing, Chu, Yi, and Jing stretches Yuan Shang's governing ability. Supply lines from Yi to Jing are vulnerable to Ma Teng's cavalry or Sun Quan's navy. From Liang province, Ma Teng and Cao Ren raid Bing and Yu by 205, exploiting Yuan Shi's weak grip with officers like Ma Chao, Ma Dai, and Pang De. Their hit-and-run tactics are a bane on the North's resources, but Chu Yi's leadership helps repel the threat. Sun Ce's death leaves Sun Quan consolidating Jiangdong by 203. By 205, he probes Yuan's southern borders as it becomes his first target for a northern expansion. Liu Biao's old officers in Jing, such as the Tai clan, might also resist Yuan Shang's rule, launching small rebellions and political hurdles in protest. Despite these challenges, Yuan Shang's position still offers unique advantages for unification. With 50 to 70,000 troops, Yuan Shang outmatches Ma Teng's 15,000 and Sun Quan's 20,000. He could offer Yuan Tan greater autonomy, or marry Yuan Shi to a Sun Quan relative, securing his flanks. Zhang He, Yan Liang, Wen Chao and Liu Bei are proven generals, and Sima Yi's emerging talent by 205 enhances strategy. Liu Bei's loyalty towards the Han aligns with Yuan Shang's use of the Emperor, for now, so he could be used to fortify Shu or Ji province, or lead a southern campaign against Sun Quan, where the talented Guanyu, Zhang Fei and Xia Yun can shine. Up north, Yuan Shi's Wuhuan ties in Bing deter steep incursions, freeing up troops for southern or western fronts. Meanwhile, Yuan Shang can issue edicts to regional warlords through Emperor Xian, although at the cost of reputation from the Han loyalist types. Sun Quan could capture Jiangxia by 206 or 207, whereafter Sima Yi advises Yuan Shang to launch a dual campaign. Liu Bei aims to push Sun Quan back to Jiangdong, while Zhang He and Yan Liang march against Ma Teng. The Yuan dynasty's success hinges on unity, while leveraging Liu Bei and Sima Yi to crush Ma Teng and Sun Quan. Failure risks Liu Bei breaking away, or Yuan Tan rebelling.